I love ZimmWriter, and I hope you do too. But today I want to talk about a feature that I don't think enough of us use, and that's a feature inside the Bulk Writer. I shared with you the other day how much I love the Bulk Writer and what a great tool I think it is, especially when you need to create lots of content. But what about when you need to give it specific information on all these articles that you're writing? Maybe you've got specific background information, specific tones and style. Maybe you're writing for multiple clients. How do we do that in the Bulk Writer? We can do that in the SEO tool, but that's one blog post at a time. Well, there's a great solution, and it's called the Bulk SEO or the SEO Bulk CSV. And we're going to show you today how we can use that inside a Bulk Writer to create really detailed, amazing articles and do it in the Bulk Writer. Here we go. So let's dive in and show you how we use the Bulk CSV feature inside of the Bulk Writer on ZimmWriter to create amazing blog posts with tons of information that we can provide. Let's go ahead and dive on in. So I'm here in ZimmWriter, no big deal. We're going to go walk over to the Bulk Writer, one of my favorite tools, and let's go ahead and slide that window out of the way. And I want to go way over here to the custom CSV. Here it is, this SEO CSV disabled. What is that? Well, click on the button. When you click on the button, we get this pop-up, and this pop-up tells us that there's a CSV file that we can fill out and complete in order to do this. So let's go ahead and look at the Google Sheet, because you want to use the Google Sheet template that's provided by ZimmWriter, put your information in that, and then we'll load it in. So let's go ahead and try this out. So we're going to load up the Google Sheet. There's instructions here at the top. It's super easy to use. Let me go ahead and minimize my thing here, and let's take a look at this, because this is an absolutely amazing tool. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to create our own version here. We're going to go ahead and remove the things on this tab. We're going to delete the things out of here, and then we're going to go over in a moment to tab 2 and save that, and I'll show you how that works. So to open up that bulk sheet, that template, come in here. We'll go ahead and zoom out a little bit here again now that we figured out what I'd forgotten. We're going to highlight all these cells, and I'm going to delete that information because I don't want it in there for what I'm going to be creating. And actually I've missed a little bit here. Go ahead and remove that. Again, don't remove any of the top information, and don't delete the rows because that could cause a problem as we move on. So now we've got this, and let me zoom back in so we can see a little better what we're doing. Now we've got things like our article title, our outline focus, our background, the outline itself. We want any SEO keywords. If we want a category and a slug. For the most part, you're not going to need all of these. You're going to need your article title because you want to put your blog post title in. And you're likely going to want your background information. This is the type of information that you want to provide as for background information on the article. We can also use the deep research mode if we want, but this is great if you've got, especially if you're doing like client work and they've given you background information, you can put information on the client in there really effectively. And I'll show you in just a moment how I create those. Then you've got your outline, any SEO keywords that you want. So if you've got specific keywords that you want put in place, instead of just having AI pick them, you can put those right in here. And the reason we want to do this in the sheet is that I get to do this for every article. So when I paste in the articles I'm looking to do, I don't have to leave the same background. I could do it for 20 different clients and put different background in on each one of them. Or I could go ahead and I could do it for different keywords on everything. So that's where this sheet becomes super beneficial, because it just gives me more granular control over what I want to do. So let's just say hypothetically we'll create an article here. I want to write something on the perfect prompting framework. Again, as a reminder, I can't type and talk very well, and we'll just say why it's the only prompt you need to know. All right. Now, the outline focus here is something I can fill in. And by the way, as a reminder, there's instructions up at the top here, so we can take a look. Where the outline focus is optional and only affects the outline that is generated, and therefore unnecessary if you're using a custom outline in the outline column, which is over here. So when we go into ZimmWriter and it's creating content for us, one of the things it does is we can use AI to generate that outline, the H2s and H3s that are going to be used. If you have a specific ones that you want, you can put that in here and it'll go ahead and do that. Or you can also go do that in the outline section. I generally don't use either of these. I just let AI figure it out, and candidly it works really well. But what I do is the background section. So let's read about the background section here a minute. It is optional. It's limited to 1,200 words, but you can add URLs in here to scrape if you want. And you can provide just background information for this article. So in this case, let's go ahead and go out to YouTube. And I'm going to grab one of my training videos here to write a blog post based on this. So let's go to Jonathan Mast AI. That'll bring up my personal channel. There we go. And then once we go in here, we're going to go ahead and see if we can do a quick search for the, actually I'd probably make it faster here. We'll just say perfect prompting framework. And it should bring me right to the video I want. Maybe there, maybe not. We've got a couple. There it is. There's the one I want right here. So this one here, we can go ahead and open up. I don't know why the content's unavailable. We'll have to figure that part out. It was working earlier, but the key that I want is I want to go down here into more. And then what I want to do is I want to click on the transcript, show transcript. And what I'm going to do here is I can now grab all of this information. So I'll highlight the entire transcript. This is a 30-minute video that I've done, and I want to use this to provide background information for the article. So once I've done that, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go over to ChatGPT, and I'm going to have it help summarize this for me. I could do this all right in ZimmWriter, but my workflow just works better this way. So, all right, so I'm in ChatGPT, and I'm simply going to tell it what I want. I need a background information document for ZimmWriter. It knows what ZimmWriter is. That's the cool thing. Of 1,200 words or less. Please review this video transcript and fix information that's bothering me for some reason. There we go. Create this background document to help ZimmWriter write about the perfect prompt framework. And then I'm just going to paste it in. Super simple. So I'm going to paste in that transcript, told it what I want here. So instead of me trying to figure out what I should put in the background, we're going to let ChatGPT go figure it out. Not a big deal. And again, I can tell it, as you saw, what's ZimmWriter, what I'm looking for here, and we'll give it just a minute to finish up. And then I'm going to paste this in as the background information for writing the article. So when ZimmWriter goes through to write this, it's actually going to use this information as its basis for writing that article. Now, I could also have it just go scrape the video. That's an option that I could do as well. But setting up scraping requires extra API keys and that. And so I know not everybody wants to do that. So this is a great way to do that and create this background that's needed in that context. So we'll wait here for it to finish up. All right, so my only concern is that might be more than 1,200 words, but we're going to go ahead and copy it, and we're going to go back over here into our background. Actually, I can find out really quick. Let's go create a new document. You don't have to do this, but when you're concerned, this is an easy way to find out. I can paste this all in, get rid of a little bit of this extra stuff that I don't need. And now I can go to the top, make sure I don't have extra stuff up there. I got a little bit of extra stuff up there. And now let's do a word count. So we can go to tools and do word count somewhere in here. There it is, right at the top. And we're 716 words, so we're good. No problem whatsoever. That'll easily work. So I'll just copy that again now that I've gotten rid of some of that extra stuff. We'll go over to our spreadsheet, and I'm simply going to double click in the cell. You want to be in the cell, and then I'm going to paste it just like that. So I've got that information in there. And the neat thing is I can now do that for as many as I want, as additional articles or anything else. So let's go ahead and let's say I wanted to write a blog post on somebody else that had written about AI. Let's go take a look in YouTube and find something that we could use there. So let's go back to YouTube here a minute. And we'll make this article something entirely different. Let's just see what we've got here. Tell you what, I know a good one. Let's go to look at OpenAI. They just made an announcement yesterday So we can go find their announcement about OpenAI and Sora and take a quick look at that. And let's see here where we go. We've got their videos. So how to recruit, they've got lots of stuff on how to do things with Sora, which is funny since we don't actually have access, or at least most of us don't at the moment. But let's say we want to write an article about this. This was day one's announcement about O1 and O1 Pro. So I'm going to go ahead and load that up here a minute. And I'm going to go look at the transcript here again a second. We're going to go down in the description, and then we're going to say show transcript. And we're going to highlight this whole thing. This is a little bit shorter, about a 14-minute article. Now I'm going to go back to ChatGPT again. And I'm going to do the same thing. So let's go back to make this easy. Let's just go back in my history because I just talked about this. So let's go ahead and go to the Perfect Prompt Framework. There we go. And I'll say now do the same for an article about ChatGPT O1 and O1 Mini using the following transcript. You may go, well, why do we want to do this? Well, this is really important because ChatGPT, even though it has O1, doesn't necessarily know about O1 because of the fact that this was their learning cutoff date. Just as a reminder, their learning cutoff date is August of 2023. So I'm recording this in December of 2024. That means there is no way that they heard this announcement or should know about this new announcement by putting this in there. It's going to create this background document that, again, I can now feed to ZimmWriter and make sure that it has updated information about this. So here we go. It's going to take a moment here to finish. I'll go ahead and pause the video so we don't have to watch it scroll. Reminds me of the early internet days when we watched images paint literally as we went by. We'll come back as soon as it's done. All right, so we're done with the article, and I went ahead and just clicked the copy button. We're going to go back over into our Google Sheet here, and I'm going to do this in row 2, the second article. I'm just going to paste that in, no big deal. And now I've got to go over and I need to set my article title. So the article title, by the way, when you're using the spreadsheet, is something that you need to put in all the time. Move my face over here a little bit. So let's figure out what do we want to do for the title for this one. So let's talk about ChatGPT O1 and O1 Mini, the future of AI models. That'll be our title. And then we've got our sheet and everything else. So now we've got 2 articles. I could continue doing this as many times as I wanted and get everything queued up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on sheet 2 over here. When I click on sheet 2, notice this isn't going to make a lot of sense, but don't edit anything here. This is the format that ZimmWriter needs. And so we're simply going to go to File and Download, and we're going to download this as a CSV. So it's going to go ahead and download that, super easy. I'm going to get out of my browser. I'm going to go back in here. Now I'm going to click on Load my bulk SEO CSV. And when I do that, it's going to let me find the file. And there it is right there. No, that may not be. Yeah, that's it, because I must have the wrong date. So I've loaded that CSV in. Notice now my icon here has changed from disabled to live so that it's all there. That's good. We can take a look at that and run it. Let's go figure out the rest. Notice also it's grayed out this top portion. The reason is because I've told ZimmWriter in this case what to use through the spreadsheet, not through the bulk writer, but I can still set all of my settings here that I want. So let's say I want to set this to automatic, but I'm going to recommend 8. We're going to do a medium section length on here. Actually, this is pretty good. We'll actually go medium. I think that'll be fine. Second person, I want to enable literary devices, enable lists, enable tables. I want to get rid of my AI words that I don't want to use. I want to bold. I want to do takeaways, and I want to do H3s. I like doing all those. You don't have to, as you want. I'm going to do my SEO-based, search-based intro. I'm going to do an FAQ with short answers, not long answers. For audience personality, I'm going to leave this at none. Again, you guys can look at that, and I'll do a video on the brand archetypes to show you how that works. For my model, what model do I want to use? Well, 4.0 today, as I'm recording this, happens to be really slow. And if you're watching this today, they had a major outage last night. ChatGPT actually was down for a number of hours, which I don't think has ever happened before. So I'm going to go and use Claude 3.5 Sonnet. It's going to cost me just a little bit more, but it's going to be a really well-written article, and that's what I want to do. I can use auto style, that's great. Auto keywords, I don't need a Midjourney prompt. We'll do the progress indicator. Everything's good there. I don't need to worry about featured images. You can do that if you want, but I'm going to create my own in other ways, so I don't need to worry about any of the images. I want to disable skinny paragraphs, and we'll keep everything else in place. Again, that's just my choice on how I want to do that. And now I can go over and I can also click on my style mimic. So one of the other things that you may have saw in my mimic video, we go ahead and we have mimics that are set up. And in the past, I've set these up and these are already in place, so I can use that and make that mimic in place. This I want to be able to now utilize so that I can make sure that everything's ready to go for the mimic. So now notice that's also changed to enable. That means it's going to use the style from that mimic as it creates that. If you want to know how to create those mimics, check out my ZimmWriter mimic video. And we're ready to go at this point in time. I can do anything else that I want to, but that's really all I need for this. So we're going to say start ZimmWriter. It's going to verify I want to do 2 of them. Again, I could line up 100 of those if I want, and we're going to say okay, and it's now going to go ahead and write those articles. And I'll wait just a couple moments here. I'll pause the video and I'll come back and I'll show you those articles so you can get a look at what they look like when we're using both the titles and the data like that in a bulk format. Again, the benefit that we're doing, if you're just catching up with us here, is that that CSV sheet allows us to create customized background data for each and every post that we want. And that's super, super cool and going to give us some incredible blog posts. All right, so the articles are done. We've got our pop-up here from ChatGPT telling us that's taken care of. Let's go ahead and take a look at those articles and see what they're like. So I'm going to go into my sheet here again. All right, I paused for just a second. You guys didn't need to see me do all that. So let's go ahead and take a look here a minute, and we'll take a look at the article. So the first one we talked about was the perfect prompting framework. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article. So I have left on some of the data up at the top just so I can see what's going on. You can see this was a 2,383 word article, and it cost me 25 cents to write using Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Again, that's one of the more expensive models, but super happy with the response I get out of that. And let's just take a look down here at the keywords. It gave me my meta description. It gave me all that. And here we are, the perfect prompting framework, why it's the only prompt you need to know. So let's highlight this article just so we can read a little better. I'm going to highlight that portion of it. Let's go into Markdown to HTML to go ahead and convert that into a version that'll work with Google Docs. You don't need to do this if you're using WordPress, because WordPress will do that just fine. But since we're using Google Docs, let's go ahead and put that in. So it just makes it a little bit easier for us to read. And we'll even start a new page here. And you'll see this up on my blog because I'm going to go ahead and post this article. We're going to go ahead and proofread it and see how it's in there. And I don't know why it's not putting my enter space in there. There we go. So why it's the only prompt you need to know. Notice it added the bold, the key takeaways, all those things that I wanted it to do. So let's just read the key takeaways a minute. The perfect prompting framework eliminates the need for extensive prompt lists by focusing on 3 core elements: expert role, context, and instructions. Framework provides a universal structure that can be adapted to any scenario, making that so true. Clear expert roles and contextual details ensure consistency. So this is all, again, very accurate, and it's very much based on that video. Again, I talked about things about the problem with prompts lists and how to use this, how to put this together. Let's see if it actually included that anywhere in there. It did. It looks like it. A construction framework, breaking it down. So I would probably go through again. We want to proof these. I'm going to probably add in a spot where I literally put the perfect prompting framework to share that with everybody. So let's just take a look at that. It's got good this. I want to proof all that. But like I said, other than adding in something for the perfect prompting framework itself, that looks good. Let's take a look at our one on ChatGPT. So this is interesting because we know that ChatGPT's memory doesn't have any information, and certainly Claude, which I used to write this, doesn't have any information on this based on their knowledge cutoff. Claude's cutoff, just as a reminder, since we're using that to write this, was April of 2024, so 6 months plus ago. And obviously that was well before the announcement. So let's take a look. This, we got, again, 2,398 words. So I think that might have been the same we had on the other for 27 cents or 26 cents. Let's take a look here. If that was just a happenstance, if so. And let's go ahead and grab our article. We'll do the same thing. We'll bring it over to Markdown to HTML. Let me highlight this real quick. That'll make it a lot easier for us to read, and we'll take a look at the quality of that article and whether it's any good or not. All right, so there we go. Let's move over here. And then I'm going to show you one other thing that I love to do just because it is a perfect way to proofread things. That's the problem framework. There we go. Paste that in. There we go. All right, so we've got that whole article. Had a table that didn't come across perfectly right, but it come fine into WordPress, no big deal. So ChatGPT 01 and 01 Mini, the future of AI models. And again, it's now, this is great. See how it's got 50% faster responses and 34%. Didn't make that up. That came from the announcement. And that's the really cool thing about this. When we paste in that background information like that, we can get some really, really great things. Again, we've got those future updates promise 25% response times and enhanced image processing capabilities. I don't remember that one. We'll double check that one. Scoring 89 and 92%. Again, those are things I'm sure they talked about in the video and the announcement. So it's talking about the key features. It's breaking down the mini version, the pro mode. This is the $200 a month plan. They're talking about that and making that available, sharing what's going on there. Speed and response times, advanced integration, all good stuff that's right in here. So that all makes perfect sense. And we've got lots of, again, information about that, including the $200 monthly investment. Again, something that had to come from that what we put in. So we've got another article here that we can use, and this will, again, I'll post this out on my blog. More stuff to have. So great overall way to do things. So I want to show you one more thing over here. This is a bonus. It wasn't something I thought about doing, but I want to go ahead and I want to grab this article. So let's go ahead and grab this article over here. And let's go into ChatGPT. We used Claude to write this. So now I'm going to use ChatGPT to give me my first initial proofread on that. So please proof. Let's see, you are an expert proof. I can't type proof reader and editor. Please review this blog post and compare it to the announcement at, and I'll put the link in. And confirm that this is applicable and accurate. And let's just go out to the video transcript that we had. Actually, I won't be able to do the video. I'll have to go out to OpenAI's blog post, but that's all right. We'll be able to grab it from there. So let's go see the blog post that they did for this. Learn more. They've got an announcement coming up here in a few minutes. That was yesterday. Let's go back to day one. Hang on here. We don't care about Sora right now. There we are, day one, ChatGPT. So let's go ahead and click on the Learn More. This is our full article. So we want to have it compare, and I'm going to use ChatGPT here with search enabled. All right, so we'll fix our misspellings, our editor, confirm, announcement. All right, and compare it to the announcement at, here's where it is. I'll put that link in there. And confirm that this is accurate and applicable. And let's see what happens. So now what's going to happen is ChatGPT is literally going to go out, and we should see it here. It should be searching the web. Let's go down to the bottom where we can see what it's telling us. And now we're going to go ahead and see if it's accurate. So it's actually taking the writing done by Claude and doing a check for us and finding out if that's all accurate. So I don't feel like reading all of this, but let's read the top part. Provides an overview and highlights their advancements. However, there are several inaccuracies and misalignments. Okay, that's important. We need to go back in and we need to fix those accordingly. And now I didn't have to read the whole article to verify that. I can make sure that we're in good shape. So some of it I'm not so worried about, like ChatGPT 01 versus 01 Mini. They didn't call it ChatGPT. Not a big deal. So in advanced models, it also includes. So I'm just now going to say, based on this, please give me specific edits to resolve these problems. Only focus on inaccurate facts. I don't want it to necessarily do a lot of editing stuff. We'll just have it focus on the facts, and it should now be able to give me that. There we go. And so it's literally telling me where I can go ahead and do this and how I can make sure that that's up to things. Again, it's giving specific things that I can fix, so this is great. I can now go ahead and edit my blog. Then I can give it my final review. And again, it's just a simple, easy way to make sure that everything is indeed accurate. So I hope this has been helpful. Hopefully you can see why it is I love the bulk writer, and specifically using the CSV inside it. So there you go. That's the bulk writer with the SEO CSV file. And I hope you can see now why it's my favorite way to create stuff within ZimmWriter, because I can do so in bulk, but with tremendous specificity as well. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and any questions that you've got about how to do this, because I think this is one of those unused tools inside of ZimmWriter. Maybe it's just me, I just don't think a lot of people use that, but explore how to use this CSV sheet, because it will open up tremendous opportunities and really increase your efficiencies. Make it a great day, everybody.